Tango 1 at the top. We're at Pop-Up Vehicle. 10-4, Tango 1. You have control. Tango 1 copy. Stand by. Stand by.
Integrity, passion, resilience. That's what this place was built on. That's what our community is founded on. Don't act like the example, just be the example. This is the home of the greatest fitness community in the world. We're trying to create strong, able bodies, resilient to injury with a gas tank to get shit done. If there's one thing from this podcast, it's about taking immediate action, find the problem, fix the problem. This is your opportunity. It's either a hell yes or a fuck no. It's that simple. You're ruining the Tango 1 podcast. Now is the time to take action. Now's the time to do more and be more.
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. Okay. See, yeah, man. I'm gonna try my best. With me and Mike. I got Mike DiFazio on the show today. Welcome to Tango 1 Podcast, everybody. Mike has brought a couple of nice cohibas here, which we're trying to enjoy. We're going to see how this goes on the set. We've never smoked on the set. I've smoked up in this room before. Not cigars, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm going to try not to light this bush here on fire, this microphone in my face. So you've got the plastic one, you're good.
Always
so
lighting
thanks to the
bushes
stogies. Yeah, funny, I have a hilarious story.
Okay, let's hear it.
So my buddy, Joe, or if you know him, I probably shouldn't use his name. Maybe we should blur out his name. It doesn't matter. He won't care. So he used to be my roommate. And we used to, when I was a cop, I would come home at all hours of the night and I'd torture everybody with, pranks and, pretend it was a robbery and, all these things, come in with my light on and, yelling at them. So anyways, I come in one day, but I think I'd come in after a few drinks with my other buddy, Ty. And Joe is sound asleep and he's got, so everybody understands at home, they got, his ankles crossed and his hands behind his head, in the perfect little sleep. And he had obviously had a few drinks himself, right? He's on this little love seat, this little leather love seat we had in our little bachelor pad then. And we unbuttoned his pants real slow, and then we lit his bush on fire.
No.
Yeah. And imagine this is how you wake up. He wakes up to he's patting it out, right? Imagine that's how you wake up.
Oh man. No. That was too much. That's intense.
Too far?
It's pretty good. It's a great story. It's a great story, but it's I could not imagine being that guy.
Whoa, so Mike, welcome to the show. On that note, let's get on with the show.
The burning bush.
So the burning bush, that's what we'll call this one, the burning bush.
That's the title of the...
Mike brought me this beautiful table, so we've had this tire that we've been using as our coffee table. We love it, but we have nowhere to put anything, and it doesn't look as good. And look what Mike did here. I don't know if anybody can see it. Irv will get definitely a shot onto YouTube for it, but looks awesome, man. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome, man.
It looks so sick.
It does. It totally finishes this piece.
Yeah, and Mike was the first guy to come up here, first podcast we shot with this new setup where it's a lot more chill and a lot cooler vibe, right?
Yeah, without the table.
Yeah, you did you did the table. You were in the first 20 episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe in the first 10 episodes.
Yeah, it was when you first started.
And now this is episode how many for you? 3, 4?
This is my third time on here.
Third time?
Yeah.
Second time solo. We did one with Corey. We had actually a hilarious one, me, you, and Corey, right?
Yeah, one with Corey, one with Casey. Man, is this the fourth one?
Oh yeah.
I think this is the fourth one.
Yeah, maybe. Fourth time. Oh look, Irv over there. He's the guy who's putting them all in.
Yeah.
Saying 4.
He remembers.
4. So man, welcome to the show. It's been a while. You and I haven't even sat down in a while, which makes this kind of exciting. When you came in the door today, I was like, bro, don't even talk to me.
Yeah.
Just talk about the weather and shit like other people talk about, right?
Yeah, but we didn't even talk about the weather. We just stood there in silence.
Yeah, and I had to make him. I thought we were gonna have a whiskey with our cigars, but this guy's on 75 hard again. And where are you at?
74.
74 days?
74 days. I got one more day tomorrow.
Oh,
Tomorrow's
boy.
my last day.
And at this time, I know you've had problems with this in the past. Are you going hog wild on day 76?
I don't know. I don't think so. So it's kind of cool. I've got a birthday party to go to tomorrow night, and it's okay, well, at midnight I could technically go and have a couple drinks or whatever, but it's I don't even know if I want to.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of stoked because that means that Sunday is gonna be a chill day. I'm not gonna be going out drinking and doing whatever on a Sunday.
Well, I mean, who would do that? No.
Yeah. But
you're such a fucking saint. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. But yeah.
I don't know.
Mike's grown up.
I kind of just feel I'm just gonna I might even just do another week. I don't know. It just this time around it doesn't actually feel like I did anything crazy. I'm gonna be honest. The first 2 months of this was nothing.
Really?
The last 2 weeks were brutal.
I gotta say, I find if having experienced this myself and seen a bunch of people go through it, watching you go through this before, you look healthier at the end of this one. Because I find like 75 hard, like around day 50, you look great, you feel great.
Yeah.
Day 75, you feel, maybe it's the mental part of it, but I think you like also like maybe being so strict on food, and people tend to like, even though like it doesn't say you have to be on a deficit, most people eat in a deficit.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to eat enough when you're not eating junk shit, right? People like realize that you're probably eating less, but you look healthier this time. What'd you do different?
This time,
In terms of like your face isn't as drawn in and like,
yeah, like I definitely,
your underwear probably still fit.
Yeah, they do this time. Like the last couple of times, my boxers, I didn't need big, like smaller boxers.
You borrow my son's.
So yeah, like the last couple of times I've done this, I ended up being like skinny at the end.
Yeah, you
and
were.
I was like, I don't want to be skinny. I was like, I don't want to be the skinny guy at the end of this. Like, sure, I'm like, I'll be shredded all the way down, like chest, stomach, arms, legs, everything shredded by the end. Like last time, I didn't even finish last time. I made day 68 last time or 65, whatever, and then we just stopped. Even that, I was like shredded, but I was skinny. Like I felt tiny. And this time, deliberately, I was like, I'm gonna do a bulk. I'm gonna try to do a clean bulk this time. And I don't even know how to clean bulk. I'm just gonna eat clean, and I'm not gonna limit it this time. I'm gonna eat till I'm full, and I'm gonna fast as many days as I can. Like, intermittent fast as many days as I can. So like, I wouldn't eat until noon, 1 o'clock. And then sometimes I would, like this morning I ate at like 11:30 because I knew I'd be coming here. So I just kind of like eat before, and then I was just like, I'm going to eat as much clean food as I possibly can, and then just lift as heavier than I ever have been. And I can feel the mass. Like I feel stronger than I've ever had before this time. Like I would like my workouts in the last 2 weeks, like I said, the last 2 weeks have been kind of shittier because I'm wearing thin now. Like it's drawn out a lot longer, but like, I mean, 70 days, 75 days in a row, it's like you start to lose the juice, the momentum, like I'm tired.
Like mentally.
Yeah, mentally, everything. Like my workouts they've kind of declined in like how hard I want to attack it, but I'm still in there, I'm still getting it done. And I feel like this time over any time in the past, I've actually realized why it's a mental challenge and not a fitness challenge, because it's not about making sure that I'm getting shredded this time, where the other times I was doing it deliberately for that. This time I was like, I want to just kind of sharpen the axe a little bit on my mind.
Right.
So I'm just in there doing the gym. I'm in there doing my workouts, but I'm just not the same. I'm doing a push pull day. A push day, a pull day, a shoulder day, a leg day, and then I'm doing like a mobility / stretching / like a calisthenics day, where I'm like doing like body weight training, and it's turned into mostly stretching and like taking a 45-minute workout and just doing like stretches and like almost like a yoga stretch thing, and it's like it's actually
in a leotard.
Yeah, in a leotard. I actually take off all my clothes.
Oh, hey.
No.
Hey.
Open up all the windows in the house.
Women listeners. Yeah, man. So I was actually gonna lead into that, and what was gonna, because I know we were together right before you started this. We were having dinner or a drink or whatever it was. And
yeah.
We met. Actually, you and Lisa bought us a beautiful dinner. Actually, we got to give a shout out to that place. Actually, what was that place? And I got to get those people on the podcast. What was it called?
Oh my goodness! Why can't I think about what it's called?
F&B.
F&B. Yeah, it was F&B. Yeah.
Unreal dinner that night, man.
That was awesome.
It was, we normally when we get together, the four of us, there's a lot more drinks than that, but we were all pretty tame. Like Lisa and the three of us who were drinking, kind of like out of respect for you. And you know what? We were better for it in the morning though, which is, I mean, that leads me into this whole thing is like, you were saying it wasn't really the booze, it was just a mixture of everything in life, a little bit of drinking, a little bit of, undisciplined gym, and it was all kind of pouring over the bucket into your business, into your personal life. Yeah,
like it kind of like I said earlier, sharpening the axe. Like I feel like everything just got dull. I was just kind of eating whatever. I mean, like I'm pretty good now. Like we've talked about this in the past too on the podcast, where like you raise your floor. Right. So, and I think like over the years, like the first time I ever did 75 hard, it was 2019. That was super disciplined, but everything was it was a change for me. It was like, okay, I'm gonna diet for the first time ever. Like I've never really
Right,
had a
you'd never
diet.
eaten that clean
Yeah.
before, right? I've never eaten that consistent in the gym. It was like
Yeah.
drinking from a fire hose or whatever they say, right? Like it was everything at once.
Everything all
Yeah.
at once, which was like really good then. And then I would, after the first time, I completely went full 180 after that. Like I was like, I'm done my program. I'm eating everything. Give me all the cookies, donuts, everything. I stopped going to the gym all together. Then you add the pandemic on top of that, and then I just got fat. Like I just got fat, sloppy, and whatever. And then it just it snowballed. And then I did 75 hard again. And then I failed it. I failed it like 2 or 3 times actually. I just started it and then I would fail it. Start it, fail it, start it, fail it. And this time I'm just like, I'm gonna do it different. Because I would try to, like that fire hose analogy you just said, that's what it would turn into, and then I would drop it. But I actually felt like at the point where I started this time, I had no other choice.
Right.
It was like I've spent so much time building up something so big, strong, tall, and like valuable that I started to, it allowed me to relax a little bit, get comfortable, which is dangerous. And then I stayed there for a little bit too long. And it was like, now I want the next level. And it's like, I don't think I can get to the next level just sitting here chilling on what's worked in the past. So like, I need to sharpen the axe to then like, to be able to build past what I've done in the past, because like, you can't just stay stagnant. You can't just coast. If you're comfortable and you're coasting, there's a finite amount of time where you can enjoy that before it starts to decline on you.
Yeah,
Naturally.
I agree 100%. I don't know why we're not trying to promote this, and we talk about this a lot, 75 hard, because I think it is such a good way to reset. However, I don't think it's for, like we said, you were a beginner, but you were lifting weights. You've been lifting weights for a long time. It's not like you came off the couch into this thing, right? Like,
yeah.
And I do find, so for anybody who's like listening to this for health and fitness reasons, like I do think that we try, when you start here, we don't want to put you on a meal plan, a new workout, have you going to bed at different time. Like, do everything at once is a little bit overwhelming. And I used this example last night at my 10-year-old boy's baseball team that I'm coaching. Is like, hey, don't try to fix everything. And mostly to their parents, right? It's like, just do one little thing every day from now to the next practice that will make you better. There's that one little thing, and that might just be a 6-inch step in their swing, right? And like making sure they're keeping their balance. If you do that over and over and over, then we can add on the next step of that, which is like opening the hips. Like I know you're not a big sports guy, but you see where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Business too, like instead of trying to do everything at once, try to layer these things on. And I found when I came out of 75 hard, I was able to I built almost like a new version of me. I don't want to be 100% set. Like I didn't find 75 hard a very fun life.
Oh, it's
like
terrible.
by any means, right? So like I come out of that, and I'm now I went from probably being an 80-20 eater to a 90-10 eater, and I've been able to stay, and I think aesthetically, performance wise, in terms of my gym, much better. And I've also been able to stay in a much better headspace because I really cut down on my booze, because I realized that was the first time in my life I'd ever gone more than probably 3 weeks without a drink in like my adult life.
Yeah.
And how good I felt.
Crazy.
And like I just had a good friend, actually the guy who helped me light the bush on fire. Yeah, he did the 6-week transformation, and he was talking. He's like, he's a guy, and he's like me, like how I used to be, I guess. Have a couple of drinks on a Wednesday night, and he's like, I cannot believe how much I feel. And he never thought he felt it before, because you never knew, because you're never that clean, so to speak, right?
It's like it lingers so long,
right,
but you don't notice it, and it's small. But when you get like that many days out, there's a clarity that you didn't even realize existed.
And the same with food, because like you start to realize that when you're that long with the food being healthy, like if you're only clean like 1 day, 2 days, and then Wednesday you end up going for Whopper Wednesday or whatever the fuck, right? You don't, just like the booze, you stay, you don't drink for 2, 3, 4 days. You don't really feel that clarity, that headspace. Same with the food. Like the longer you go on, and now you're like, man, like I don't actually want that Whopper Wednesday because of what it's gonna do to my insides, right? And how shitty it's gonna make me feel from performance wise. Reading the books, like that's something that since 75 hard, Danny and I have not stopped. We were always good readers, but never was it like something I did every day.
So
right?
like it's funny because like my buddy Josh has done
He's a
75
crazy
hard. Yeah, he's done 75 hard like twice a year. He's completed the whole program.
Give a shout out. What's his real estate
Marchand.
account?
Yeah, Josh Marchand. He's a real estate agent.
Look at that. That's all you need.
That's all I need. He's a great guy. So Josh done it a bunch of times now, and we call it the curse of Andy Frisella because it has nothing to do with like 75 Hard. I don't think 75 Hard is supposed to be lived on. I don't Andy says it all the time on his podcast. Yes, it's supposed to be lived on. Like he lives it. I don't think it's supposed to be lived on. I think it's supposed to set a new standard because now it's like I'm gonna read right now, and then it's like, well, you can read 10 pages and it's only gonna take you 20 minutes, or you just read 3 pages. It's like just read the 10. You can go for a walk outside. Just walk for 45. You can make 45. 45 is not that hard. You can go to the gym and do a couple push-ups and that, or just go to the gym for 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes, but it's like it's the standard. It's like you can go to the gym right now. It's like it's this little, I don't know. Like I've always liked Andy Frisella. The dude's like he's super intense. I've always listened to his podcast.
We were dropping ashes all over ourselves.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. But yeah, it's this curse because you know what you're capable of doing now.
Right.
So like it's like you can read that book 10 pages a day for the next 75 days, but you're just not doing it. Why? And it's like because you're gonna give yourself some sad excuse of why you can't do it. You don't have time. It's like I somehow have had time to renovate my buildings, go to work every day, do my 45-minute workout, do my 45-minute walk-in, read my 10 pages of a book, make sure I got my meal plan for tomorrow, make sure my clothes are stacked on the table so I can wake up in the morning, throw my clothes on and go outside. Like, it's this whole encompassing thing. Like, if you don't do those things, you prepare, you can't, like, your day is hell the next day because you are, like, running.
Yes.
Running.
Right, which is how most people live on their daily basis. It's how we've all, like, Irv, me, you, everybody in this room has lived at certain short periods, long periods of their life where you are just chasing it, man. You're chasing it all day long. You're never gonna catch up. It's almost like money, right? Like if you get way back behind, it's very hard to catch up. Right? Yeah. No pun intended. The two of us, we're both feeling the weight of the inflation. Let's say. Yeah. It's been a tough go for the both of us, right?
It's like. I mean, if you want to go there right now, we can go there right now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So one of the things...
We have no plans in this podcast, guys, so just keep listening. You don't know what's going to come out. Another Flaming Bush story.
The old Flaming Bush. It's... Someone said something to me the other day that, like, was really interesting, right? Like, it's like things have slowed down a little bit. Like, you're just feeling... Something is different right now. I don't really know exactly what it is. I've got, like... I could probably go into like a little bit of why things are the way they are, but like it's relevant. The fact is that things are different, and it's actually creating time. And it's like this time could be either wasted or it can be used. Yep. And someone said to me the other day, "Never let a crisis go to waste." That blew my mind, and I'm like, this is the perfect time. I haven't had a break in our work schedule and our project schedule for like 6 years. To like actually be like sit down, step away, and look from the outside in instead of having it be in there because shit's falling from all the like I'm like juggling all the time. So it's like, okay, step back a little bit. Things are still moving, projects are still going in, projects coming out. We're doing projects for people, like we're still doing stuff, but we're not, the craziness has slowed down a little bit, and it's been amazing because when we get back busy again, we are going to be coming back as a totally different business. Supercharged, because everything that I knew was like taking waste or was like creating waste in our shop has been cut and replaced with something that is like lean.
I mean, this is why I love being around you, man, because like it's like, you know, you've been talking about like my actually business has actually picked up. It's the costs, because in gym business is a little bit different, not for better or worse, I guess, but we have different issues than you do. Like when you're selling a product, a material, I guess you can, that piece of wood that, you know, you made for me for free, but this piece of wood here, as a gift, I should say.
As a gift.
Piece of wood that you know, say that's $100, your cost went up to $150, you can reflect that when you go to sell it. For me, I have people lock into contracts. So when all of a sudden my heating bill like almost tripled, my power bills, I can't just go and raise people. I cannot. By law, I cannot. And by morally, very difficult
I think
as well, right?
Yeah, it's more.
So, like, that's where the struggle has been for me. But I love how you're able to just put a positive spin on it. And Pete Dobrich, who's a common friend of you and I.
Yeah. Right?
And he's been on the podcast. Pete, might butcher this, but he says, you know, and he's successful. I don't know his situation, but sure, sure appears that he's comfortable financially, right? And he says to me, he's like, you know, successful people, wealthy people, in times of greed, take heed. And in times of need, become greedy. Right? Which is basically meaning like, you know, when everybody's getting the tulips, right? Everybody's getting, you know, picking the tulips because they're out there and buying all the things, buying the boats like we've seen all these people do, buying the boats, buying the cars, buying the things. No, man, that's a time where you sit back, let your wealth build, and then when everybody's in need, prices are dropping, things are happening, opportunities are there where other people cannot take advantage of.
Now you buy.
Now that's when you go in. And you see things like this. I was just in Florida, like the Tanner. Yeah. Anyways, I was just in Florida.
I like the Tanner.
And like one thing there is like when these big hurricanes hit, the wealthy people buy up the beach property.
Scoop.
Right? Like, you know, and I'm not saying it to be greedy in a way, but it's a good strategy to put towards things like Bitcoin, things like, you know, like all these things that are, I'm not saying are good or bad. I'm saying like when everybody's going one way, you know, it's time to start thinking like, oh, what is the next thing? Or maybe I should pull back and just kind of like, you know, be a little bit more cautious. Myself, I learned this with, we talked about this. Remember you and I having lunch at Ortona, Johnny's place there, another shout out. Okay, having lunch at Ortona, and I'm talking about the stocks, you know, things that I was doing, and I was killing it. Yeah. Well, guess what the fuck happened, right? Like, when really I didn't invest a huge amount of money. Let's just call it $10,000 for so Danny doesn't hear. But like, let's just say it's $10,000. Like, I could have done way more with that $10,000 if I wouldn't have been greedy in a time of like greed, right?
Yeah.
I should have been he instead of that, right? Like, something to think about.
So I had a very similar experience when I started buying crypto. Same thing, right? Like I started buying crypto, and it was just to, I guess, get in the game. It was like, I'm not in the game, so I'm gonna buy to get in the game. And then, I mean, I was very fortunate at the very beginning because I started buying right before everything kind of went crazy. But I started buying out of a fear and this is like 2020, like pandemic just kicked off. You know, everyone's going into lockdown, and I'm like, whoa, I was freaking out. I'm just like, I'll just fucking buy this, buy that, buy whatever. I don't even know what I'm doing. Throwing it at the wall, trying to figure it out. And it went way up, and then I was like, I don't know what it's doing. Look at it, it's way up there. And then it come all the way down, and I'm like, shit. I should have bought, but like, it's not that I should have bought now. Like I just buy little bits at a time now. But it's like you have to. I feel like you have to learn by being in it. Because if you sit there on the sidelines just watching and learning the entire time, you're gonna miss it.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, like what you just said, like you put a bunch in and it came all the way down. It's like, but you didn't know if it was up or down yet. And I mean, maybe that's inexperience.
And you know what? I still own it, so like
that's what I mean.
It could still go up. I would like to can we put an asterisk in here? Mike and I are not financial advisors, nor do we play them on TV. But last night we stayed at a Holiday Inn. Was those commercials? I'm not a pilot, but last night I stayed at a Holiday Inn. Remember?
No, I don't.
You never seen those?
No, I don't know.
Anyways, so you get what we're saying, but like I think we're speaking the same language. You do have to take some risks. You do gotta get in there sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. But also, you know, when I got in, it was like everybody else was already there.
Yeah.
You know what? That was probably not the right time.
But you're new to it. But like, I feel like if you went back into it now, like if you took what you learned and you like reapplied it again at this time,
I would put it in property.
Yes. Damn it.
Yes. You know what? Honestly, like I know there's I mean, and I know you do pretty well with this, and lots of people obviously do pretty well with this stuff. I just think like I don't know that I'm built for that kind of attention to detail that you need to be involved in those types of things. Where I like with the property stuff that I do, I feel like it's a lot calmer seas. And it's a lot more forecastable. Maybe the return might not be as high in the short term, maybe not even the long term. But I just, for my person, I think that's what, you know, you got to make sure that you're like, you know, if you don't like violence, you're not going to start, you know, MMA fighting, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to start join a gun club, right? Like, so like some of those things, like it's just like you got to fit your personality to
you got to understand yourself.
I try to force feed myself into that, and I don't think it was my cup of tea, and I don't think I'd do it again. I mean, fuck, we could be having this conversation in 2 years and all the things that I own, because I did follow the strategies that say like, you know, buying into these blue chip companies and, you know, Like, we could be talking in 2 years, and I got the next Google. Who knows? I mean, fuck.
You
I
never,
mean, we will be talking. It's all how you say it. We
Yeah.
will be talking.
That's
And
it.
I will be buying the cigars. And the expensive whiskey. But yes.
yeah, you usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think that stuff's all great. And speaking of like new fads and shit, man, Chat GPT.
Oh man.
Have you dove into this a little
Absolutely.
bit? It is fucking wild.
It's scary.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel dirty using it. Irv's back there. You know what we're talking about, Irv? You've been, right? Like, so this Chat GPT, I feel like everybody must know about it now. And Irv, you correct me, or Mike correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not the tech guru, but it's this AI, artificial intelligence stuff, and it's like allowing, for example, I could go in and say, hey, like, write me a post about the best 5 ab exercises to do, and you can get so specific. Like, I actually did one, like, write me a West Side barbell conjugate program, how to improve my bench press. And what came back, and with a 4-day, I only have 4 days available. You can get so specific with it, and it came back with a program that, honest to God, like, that's what I do for a living. I looked at this program and I'm like, wow, that's like actually pretty good, right? But that's fine with personal use, but also now, you know, like, I've invested a lot into myself to become a good trainer, and like, there's authors, there's people, there's you with whatever you've kind of like, you know, but that's all there right for the picking.
It is and it isn't though. Like I see guys online. So just for a really quick example, like I see guys online. I'm honestly kind of addicted to Instagram. I'm always on it. And I watch these guys like, I went to ChatGPT and typed in create 3 different businesses that will make me $1 million in 6 months. And it's like, look, there's 1, 2, and 3. And I'm like, cool. There's also a book right here that'll tell you to do it. There's a book over there that'll tell you how to do it too. It's like that person, yeah, they might have the code. They might have the step 1, 2, 3 on how to run this business that's $1 million. Actually applying that's not even in their wheelhouse yet. Like, you can't. I don't think the average person. There are exceptions to this. That, like, if you give the average person a blueprint, say if you do this, this, and this, you'll make $1 million.
Well, I mean, you know this is true. Fitness proves this. My industry proves this. What do I have to do to get a 6-pack?
That's exactly my point.
Do this, this, and this. These 3 mundane tasks every fucking day.
They won't do it.
In this 90-10 lifestyle.
Yeah.
And people will not do it. So, yeah, I agree very much with you there. There's, for me, the scary part, and like you're saying, like, one, ChatGPT, I don't know that it has the ability to fact check, right? Like, I don't know. Like, if somebody puts out bad information on the internet, right? Because it's pulling from apparently it's got the whole internet memorized.
It is censored.
Right? Like, but how does it know that?
It is. Like, Lisa and I tested that.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. We were asking questions. We were asking it questions to answers that we know. Like we know the answers to certain things.
You guys really know how to have fun, hey, on Friday nights?
Yeah. That's a 75-hour lifestyle. Sorry, I can't go out. We're going to sit here and we're going to learn. But yeah, we're sitting there asking questions, and it's like, it's very much one-sided. It'll give you the answer that it wants you to know.
Right.
So it's like, if you want to play doctor, it's going to give you the answer that someone put in there, like someone prompted it, or someone is censoring it, or a company or whatever is censoring it to only give you a specific answer that company or whoever's censoring it wants you to learn.
Right, which is the terrifying thing. We get more into the internet. Like, now we got Bill C11 or something, right? That's
whatever.
Like, we're talking about censoring the internet. Now you're talking about, like, the only... And we talked about this in the past, like, whether you were for vaccines, against vaccines, for, I don't know, whatever you want to say, gender equality, gender, whatever, like, whatever you searched on the internet, you were only getting that side of the story. But now, if it's going to be censored through the government, which I don't know how far we are from this, or, like, I don't want to get out of my lane too much, but if it is become censored by the government, now it's literally not just what I'm interested or what I believe in that's going to be fed to me, which is already a problem with Google, right? Like, like whatever I'm looking up, it's coming back and just it's not giving me like, oh, you don't want to be vaccinated, but this, and this as well, right? Like, these are some it's not. It's giving me like all this people that are like, no, hell no, right? Now it's going to be whatever the guy the guy who's got the censor button, like, you know, sitting in the internet space, that's able to say, like, no, this is the only information that these people are gonna get, and that's also terrifying.
Yeah, I'm not like, I don't care what side of the spectrum your guy, like, anybody's on. You need to be able to look at both.
Yes, to be able to educate yourself.
You need to be able to look at both. Like, I could be wrong here for
Yeah.
thinking this, but like, you're only giving me this is the right way. But like, this isn't a black and white. We don't live in a black and white world. There's gray everywhere. Like,
right, like Irvin coaches basketball. Like, that's like the same. It's like if the government decided the censor guy, whoever that is, which is just going to be a board of people who aren't even fucking really looked after. So whoever these gatekeepers are, say like zone defense is the only defense we should be playing in Canada. That's you know, that's kind of like, if you've dumb it down to something that I'm sure they wouldn't be censoring that, but like you dumb it down to that simple, that's kind of what they're saying, is like, this is the only thing you can learn here is zone defense, and then we're gonna be forever beaten with the trap, right? So that's what we're looking at, and that's a scary thing. And with this AI, what's scarier is like, one, I mean, fuck, man, I'm using it to write some posts, you know, like, I'm 44 years old. I've learned a lot about fitness. It's saving me some time. I think that's a great thing. But now my sons are at homeschool. My wife asked them to write something about, you know, the geology in our area, and they're able to just look it up and have like a something come back, and like, there's no thought process. There's no going in and opening these books.
but the internet destroyed that already, though.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, but I feel like, I don't know, it's just it's scary as a parent right now for me with that terms, right? Because I want my kids to. I mean, the biggest reason I have them homeschooling, and the thing I try to do differently when I coach children, is like, I'm trying to create critical thinkers, and I think that's what's missing. And I think if we have this as this tool that's not policed, and how you can police it is a whole other thing, because then we get back to censoring. Like, I don't know where we can go with this. Like, have we gone too far?
I don't know. That's a giant rabbit hole. You know what I mean?
We didn't even have whiskey. Listen to us talking.
So, I don't remember who said it, but it's like the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution changed how we did manual labor. This AI revolution, or whatever you're going to call this revolution that's happening right now, because it's going to change the landscape for business and politics, governments, everything, schooling, everything. It's changing the way we do intellectual work. It's going, like, I don't, like, yeah, for me, honestly, I'll go on Instagram, or I go on ChatGPT, push a couple buttons, and next thing you know, I had a whole Instagram post. It's not me, though. So, but what it does is it gives me, like, a very accurate template where I can change a couple words, change a couple things, make it me. And now it's like, thank you for summarizing that. My thoughts, now I can modify them, and then I can push it out. So it's like, I don't think that it's going to completely remove the human connection of like art, like artistry and stuff. Because like copies an artist point, like authors, you know, there's going to be people that are just going to start pushing buttons and like, this is my Picasso painting that AI created for me.
Right.
It's cool. That's going to get real old real fast. And is it going to get better? Absolutely. And like, is there going to be a time where like you might not be able to tell if it's human made or not? I 100% think that's the case. But for example, I'm going to throw them under the bus because they drive me nuts. Enbridge is one of the worst companies I have ever dealt with. And I'm saying
the power just went off of the garage. Thank you.
The heat just got shut off.
Thank you. While you're charging me 4 times as much as you were last month. So,
but good, like
screw you too, Enbridge. I'm on the fucking Enbridge. Fuck you, Enbridge. Yeah. Here we go.
So like, my brother
just lost
moved.
10 followers.
My brother just moved in. It's okay. You got 2 more of mine. My brother moved into one of my houses, and he had to change the power bill, the heat bill from Enbridge. He moved from a place that he was paying gas at into my house. 4 months went by. They forgot to change his gas bill from this apartment, and then they forgot to do his whole conversation was, I'm moving from this address into this address. I need you to shut this one down and open this one up. 6 months went by. That one got closed out after 4 months, but you can't get a hold of them. Like, you're gonna call Enbridge, you're gonna get. Like, I've tested this because it drives me nuts because I spend 45 minutes on the phone pushing buttons, just listening to prompts by a computer on the cell phone, on the phone thing. Like, just give me a person to talk to. Because now I'm pissed. Now I'm pissed, and the person who's going to actually answer the phone after 45 minutes of me trying to get a hold of them is going to get an earful. So I call the emergency line because I can't get a hold of anybody. So now, and I'm not the only one doing this. Come on, like I can work my way around the internet, like a little bit, anyways. But like I'm thinking of like my grandma or like my older aunts and uncles. Like, what are they going to do? They're going to go on and talk to the chat bot on your website?
Yeah.
No, they're like the desire for human interaction in that term is going to increase huge, I think. Like, you cannot automate everything and have the best experience, in my opinion. Because, like, the human... And I mean, this is depending on, like, different industries, I think. But, like, for me, for what we do, where it's custom furniture, it's very... like, you're involved. You're talking to me. Like, I need to understand your project for me to be able to produce the coolest and best possible thing for you. Is there a computer program that'll do that eventually? Maybe. But like, they're gonna have to talk to a computer. They're gonna have to type out exactly what they want. It's like,
well, it's just like when we try to have conversations via text.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, just call, like, you're like 5 texts back and forth. Me and Irv do that actually all the time. I'm trying to explain something on the website and he's reading what I'm writing. One, I have the worst texting. So he's reading what I'm writing and he's not getting it, and I'm getting frustrated because I think I'm explaining it properly, but it's like, you're not. No. And then we get on the phone and we solve this problem in like 8 seconds. Yeah, yeah, I get it. What you mean? Okay, thank you. No, I thought you meant that. Now I look at my words, I'm like, oh, that is kind of what I fucking said, I guess. Right? Like, I get it big time, man. Like, very big time, and it's true. I mean, I was just doing a consulting thing for a very big company, and I happened to be a customer of theirs just randomly. And they said to me, like, what would you like? And my answer was, man, I just want you guys to answer the phone when I call.
Yeah.
That's all I want. And that's almost all I want out of all of these massive companies.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
Man, like, if you just answer the phone, we'd all, like, I mean, I don't know how many phone calls they get. They must get a lot. I mean, but this is all about saving it's all about saving money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why they're having these commuter systems. Is it all because of workload? It has to do with it, but you're saving money on not having people.
Yeah, but to the point, to what point? Because at a certain point, I'm going to stop going to you because I can't get a hold of somebody on the phone.
Or you going to stop going to the power company? That's the other problem.
That's the oligopoly they have is a different story. With
that's Enbridge. Why they can triple my bill.
Yeah. Enbridge, I'm honestly going to go.
Not just them. They're all kind of similar, but
yeah,
frustrating.
It is frustrating.
Let's take a break in the action and get something a little bit less frustrating. So Mike and I believe in this company, HQ Nutrition. We both use their products. We love their stuff. And they are sponsors of the podcast, sponsors of everything we do, and supporters of every charity I've ever run by them. So HQ Nutrition, I love the products. Focus, at 44, I've been taking the test boost, which I'm loving. I just find it gets me an extra little jolt before or after my workout and helps me sleep better at night. Helps keep everything else going, right? So if I can lift heavy weights, then everything else will work itself out, if you know what I mean. Okay, so go to their website. You can use code TANGO15, or you can come on in the garage gym. We can hook you up with whatever it is you need. We also want to say thank you to Murray Insurance, longtime supporters of the show, almost since day one, probably since like episode 7. They have been by our side. They've been at the gym forever. These guys are giving constantly to the Kingsville community. They have everything you need, a one-stop shop for home, auto, finance, whatever it is, insurance. They will hook you up, and they even have some other services advising things of sorts. So go see them at Team Murray Insurance and, tell them that Tango 1 sent you.
Ian and Kara are awesome, by the way.
Oh, yeah, you've done, actually.
We've done a ton of work for them, yeah.
So this is kind of a funny thing. Like, that's a good segue in. I get a huge kick out of, like, the garage gym. Like, it's kind of been our goal since day one, the garage gym army, the greatest fitness community in the world is like, everything you need is here. Like, not from me, but like from the community that comes here, the people that come here. Like, you want to get your hair cut, you want to get, plumbing, you need whatever you need, we can find a place. And the podcast is kind of becoming part of that. Like, you've done some work with Dell, you've done some work, I've done some work with people because of you.
Yeah.
Like, it is really a cool thing for me. And like this table, I like, I said to you, I'm like, yeah, man, like, thank you so much. But I really feel like the people who sit in this seat are gonna be like, oh, who's Mike DiFazio? I'm like, oh, no, listen to this podcast and go check him out, and he does great stuff. Right?
Yeah, you gotta you're the people that come to this gym are awesome. Like I've worked out here a couple of times with you guys. It's always been fun. It's always different too, because it totally throws I'm like, the workouts that we do here are so different from what I'm used to, because I just want to put my headphones in and not think and just do push day or pull day, and then I come here and then I'm like, I'm like, what do you call those things? Skis? Like the skis? Like whatever the ski thing is. Like I'm doing all sorts of exercises.
See, you never come on strength days though. You always end up here somehow on conditioning days, which is like once a week, which is also your nemesis.
Yeah, yes it is.
But you were here on one strength day, the upper body day, where you left here kind of sore.
You guys killed me. I'm like, how are you guys lifting these things? Like, okay, fine, I'm not gonna say no. So yeah, I'm gonna just throw myself on this bench press and move more than I've ever have in my entire life. It's fun.
Well, I appreciate hearing that. We're killing it right now, man. We're on this really focused on glutes and hammies, and I have blown out 2 pairs of jogging pants. My favorite sweatpants. I've blown the ass out of them. This thing is getting I'm trying to get these skinny jeans on today. I'm like, holy, right? Like it is like
that's funny.
My
man.
butt hurts so bad today to bench press. Today in the gym, as you were asking about working out, usually we couple this with a workout, but today was the Atkinson workout. So this won't come out till next week, but May 5th, 2006, John Atkinson. It's important for me. This is the first time I think I've ever really spoke about it on the podcast, and it's important to me that the memory of what he did and the sacrifice he made. He was a Windsor police officer who stopped, at Paulette and Seminole to, whatever he was doing in plain clothes, saw a drug deal happen, and he was shot and killed. It was a traumatic thing for me and a lot of other people that were there, and obviously his poor kids and family. And we started this workout that we did today. We started it like 5 years after it happened, because we started finding that, one, it was good for us. I think it was good for our souls, the guys on that team who started this workout with me, but also because we started to see there's people who really didn't know what happened, who didn't know him. And now here we are 17 years later, and there are people who they were on the police department now that were 5 years old, 6 years old, that had no clue of this story, right? And they hear, but maybe they don't know firsthand from some of the people who are more heavily involved. Yeah. And I really want that to be the message that gets delivered, is and it's not about feeling sorry for us or even for John's family at this point. I wouldn't think for them. It's about teaching everybody to hey, seize this day, because no matter what job you do, you might leave and there's a car accident, there's something that happens. Make the most of your day. And from me, from a personal standpoint, is to whatever it is that bothers you, to make sure that you deal with it, because if you let that thing fester, it just gets worse and worse over time. So everybody, if you could take it, it's right around now. I think it's just about 2:00. That's usually when the 2:07 actually is the moment of silence when that all happened. So out of respect for John, we're just going to shut this down for the next 20 seconds or so. All right, thanks for that, guys. So let's move on. A little bit somber. How old were you? Do you remember that happening?
I was in grade 9. I was in tech class when my school got locked down, because it was around the corner from my high school.
I was going to say, because you're an East End kid, right?
Yeah. I was at Brennan. I remember being like, I ain't staying here. We're not going out. And whatever the teachers got, code whatever, right? Because they're the school's locked down. My old lab teacher, whatever, I don't know, it was tech class. I think it was tech class. He was like, no one's leaving. And we were like, fuck, who are you, bro? Who is this guy, right? But the whole school's locked down. But we were just teenage kids, I'm not staying in school. But there was no chance we were getting out of that school that day. But yeah, that was real close to home.
Yeah, for me it's weird because John was he went to he did the same football program as me. He worked for my dad in the West End for a long time. So we had a relationship outside of policing, before policing. And then he kind of just checked in on me. We worked together. He was in plain clothes. When I got into SWAT, we did some things together. And I remember thinking, at the time, I think he was 39-ish when we lost him. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he was a guy that I thought of as being much older than me, right? A guy I looked up to as being. And now I am 44. I'm older than him. When he passed away, his son and daughter were 9 and 7 or something. My kids are 10 and 8. It's so crazy to think now, like I'm like looking at it from a different angle, and when I said it was not about feeling bad for John's family, obviously our hearts go out to John's family, right? But I think there's something to be taken from every bad experience, and I think those are the lessons there. And that was a crazy day. They were locking down schools. Like we showed up. I showed up maybe 15, 20 minutes after it happened, and I was one of the first SWAT guys there, and we went out like basically on a manhunt, like, you know. And
I remember
little
that.
did we know that, like, you know, an officer, Tim Harrington, give him a shout out. He did a great job and actually had already arrested the shooter, which was unbelievable. And but like the manhunt was on. We didn't know what we were doing, what we were looking for. It was kind of like, you know, it was before the cell phone. Like, we had cell phones, but I mean, I got paged in that day. I remember getting my pager went off.
Yeah, yeah.
Get in. There's an officer down. Right. It's pretty wild day, and you know, and a real bright sunny day like this, I'll never forget that. It was like 80 something degrees that day. A beautiful day. Cinco de Mayo will never really be the same. Yeah. But, you know, cheers to him, and you know, shout out to his family for all they've endured and the ultimate sacrifice and all those things, and every police officer staying safe, because that stuff's really starting to bug me right now. Is like, you know, we're just making it easier. Like there's police officers getting killed at a rate that has never been seen in this country. And we're making it easier with this court systems and the apathy of us as citizens who are okay with this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
my rant over. So that's good.
No, I get it, man. I get kind of it kind of ties into like all the other stuff that, you know, with like the blast camps and everything that I've done with you guys, like even just leadership in general, right? But like working with the blast camps and you guys, and like the blast camp specifically, because it really kind of leaned into like the first responder, like you are the first responder at an event. If something happens in front of you, you're the first responder. Like, even if you're the guy that has to call the cops or call the ambulance or the fire department, you're the guy that's there first. And it's like, you should at least know how to like handle a situation. And like, I didn't know this guy or anything like that. I was really young when it happened. But like, that guy was in that scenario. He wasn't even on duty. He was off duty.
No, he was in plain clothes.
Oh, okay.
So he would have looked off duty.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So it's okay. Yeah. So he kind of like was working, but like even for someone like me, it's like if something happens, like what do you do? And it's like these are just things that I think about differently now since those camps. It's like, you know, am I prepared if something ever happens? Like something like we're talking about like someone falling off their bike and like busting their head wide open. It's like, what do you do? Yeah. You run away screaming like, oh my God, that's disgusting. Like, yeah, it's going to be gross, but like that guy's going to need you more now than he did before.
Yeah, man. I mean, Blast is a lot about that. And somebody sent me a post just yesterday, funny, that it was well worded. It was basically like, when you become a parent, you don't have the right to be out of shape and unskilled.
That I feel that so much right now.
You need to be able to care for your family. Like, and that might just be the simple thing of like running to the backyard because my kid fell off the slide. Yeah. But, you know, I should be able to, you know, there were in the video that went with it was, maybe that was a Tim Kennedy one, was like a lady, you know, put her baby in a stroller, the brakes weren't on, and it starts sliding down. And she falls, and she's so out of shape that we don't know the situation. She could have ALS for all I know, but I'm going to say that she probably didn't. I'm going to say that she was like the people I saw in Florida, the 80% of the people who were just, you know, absolutely did not take care of themselves and could give a fuck. And she was unable to get like thank God, some guy stops it before this baby rolls out into the highway.
The highway, yeah.
Right? Like, there's a certain level of, you don't have to be jacked, you don't have to have a six-pack, you don't have to have like a 540, but you got to take care of yourself in a way, and you have to have plans in place to make sure. Like, we were traveling last week, and I've got like the full medical kit in the back.
Oh yeah, that's in my truck right now.
Right? Like, like, and people think I'm crazy, but like, am I?
I don't think so.
Am I? Because
you're the person that they're gonna be thanking if you're there, if their arm gets cut off somehow in like some crazy accident or something. Like, right? Like, I've got tourniquets in my truck. I got the gauze. Like, I got everything I need. That you guys told me to get after blast camp. I was like, all that. I wrote down all this stuff that Tim. Yeah. That Tim was saying. He's like, you should have this, and this, and I wrote it all down on a list. Went home, bought it all on Amazon. It's all in my truck.
You know, we've been taking a little bit of a hit, like guys like me who do enjoy, you know, the pastime of guns. My guns are not there to like be the militia or anything like that. Did I just hear something?
No, it was my list, but it was. I just let it go.
Anyways,
was my lips,
Call
I
it, that's what you
promise.
do. You call it the guest that they fart. That's what we do in the gym too. If anybody lets one slip, we turn the music right down in case there's another one coming. But anyways, like, so in Florida, this topic came up with my aunt and uncle, who are not gun advocates, and I'm not a person who's pushing for guns for everybody to own a gun. The shootings going on in the schools, like, I mean, it would be completely ignorant and dumb of me to say that the guns are not part of the problem. Absolutely, I'm not saying that, so don't run with that. You all the people who are butthurt over that word. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, guns were always here and have always been here, in particular in the United States. I mean, I've told this story on here before. I worked a deal right before I finished here, and we had one person, or a group of 3 people, brought 380 guns through the border, right? And those are only the ones that we knew about.
Yeah.
And only the one group that we knew about. That's how many guns are in the States. So by banning these things, we're taking the tip of that problem. What in the last 10 years has changed that has caused people to now use these guns is where we need to kind of try to find.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can make gun laws and that maybe it'll slow it down a touch, right? But what is causing people to now use these tools, right? In Canada, they're generally tools. Like,
Yep.
you know, there's a lot of guns in Canada, mostly used by hunters and things like that. But what is causing? That's what we need to get to, right? It's like, you know, when the government wanted to attack COVID, it was like, okay, the vaccine that's it. Well, no, like, let's go look deeper. What can we do on a deeper level that's going to be a longer term solution rather than just like, we just want to like band-aid things or tourniquet things, right? Like,
Yeah.
But like, we want to just tourniquet this to save this, keep this guy alive for 2 minutes. We want to
2 minutes,
tourniquet
yeah.
so we can now do something else to keep him alive forever.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I agree. Like, if we do sharpen up some gun laws and things, like, of course, maybe, like, I mean, preventing one shooting is worth
Of course.
some of these laws that they're, you know, but like, it's not the biggest problem.
It's not the
And where
problem.
is the biggest problem?
It's
Is
like,
it ChatGPT? Is it Instagram? I think it has a fucking lot to do with the internet. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, so like, one thing that you've always said is like leadership is the problem and leadership is a solution. It's like we don't even have that anymore. In my opinion, like where these people that are making the laws and like telling us what we should and shouldn't be doing, they're out of touch with everything.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we need higher wages. Like the people in the parliament or whatever, they need higher wages because the bills are going up. It's like you guys make like 300 something grand a year. You need higher wages. There's people that work at McDonald's that. I mean, that's a whole other thing because I actually feel like that's a whole other ball. I don't even want to go there right now. But the with the lockdowns, say for example, because like that's something that I have more of I guess a tie to because that affected me. That wasn't a solution. That was the tourniquet, if it even did anything. Right? Because like now, I don't know if you guys see it, but like I see it on all of our Instagram, all the YouTube commercials, the radio ads, everything, the mental health crisis. We had one before. It's enormous now. And it's like, yeah, sure, let's stop it here. But then what? We create all of this mess on this side. It's like there's something still down here that's causing a problem.
Every action has a reaction, right?
Yeah.
Is that...
But like, where's the core? Where's the actual root cause of these problems that are happening right now? It's all tied together. You know, and I mean, there's lots that I've been learning about in terms of like your hormone balances and stuff like that. That they affect your brain, the way your brain works. The food that you eat affects your brain. It's like you can. So I started reading. This is earlier this year. I read like a 500-page book on testosterone. It was a gigantic book on test, and it was like. There's 2 different things, right? Because like I talked to Lisa about this, and Lisa's with her background in like bodybuilding and everything. She's like, I'm sitting here saying like bananas. We should be eating more bananas, and we should be eating more like fruits and stuff. Like we should, like as men, we should be eating fruit and like all these other things that, in like a bodybuilding sense, don't necessarily make the most sense. Like, you know, like there are things like. Your fat content and like carbs are good. Like you need carbs because there's eating for like physique and athleticism, and then there's also eating for hormone balance.
Right. I wish Corey was here today. He would be the perfect guy.
Corey.
To talk about this. We're getting out of our lane a little bit, but
Yeah.
no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. And I do think like a lot of times too, people like the bodybuilding world, like, okay, that's for a very particular
Yeah.
Right? Like powerlifting, you would eat for a very particular way. When you're eating for health, there's other things
different
to
things
consider other than
that wouldn't get you shredded, essentially.
Right.
It's like, for example, like sleep. It was like to boost your test as much as you can, you should be waking up to the sunrise every day, and you should be getting at least 8 hours. It's like
getting sun on your balls. Isn't that
that's one of the rooftop.
There's a lot of things out there right now where I'm like, oh, I wouldn't mind doing this regardless if there's an effect or not. It sounds like it's gonna feel pretty good.
Right. Like, so like there's all these things, just like, but in a bodybuilding sense, which is where I think like a lot of the spotlight is for the people that want to get shredded. Just like, do this if you want to get shredded, but like the majority of the people just eat whatever because they're not getting shredded. Like they're not eating right. Like there's a difference between eating for bodybuilding and eating for hormones. Like there's two different things, and like there's all sorts of like gut health things that I'm starting to pay attention to. Like this whole world, like even eating just for physique and stuff is new to me. So I'm learning a lot, right? So I'm not speaking from any sort of professional, like,
just from your own experience.
Yeah, from my own experiences, right? But like there's different things, and I notice it. Like I can actually tell the difference when I'm eating, well, like you just said earlier, is like you don't look as like dead, like with 75 hard. My face isn't drawn in. I'm not skinny. Like I'm eating different because of now what I know. But like in reading those books and then like learning what I've learned through experience, my floor is raised again. So like I'm not like as I learn all these things, my habits change because I now know what is better.
Right.
It's like, okay, I can eat this many like Brazil nuts, or like a good one that like in that book they talk about those Brazil nuts all the time.
You and your Brazil nuts.
I love Brazil nuts.
I hate Brazil nuts. I can eat them, but like they're like the last choice of the sort of tray of nuts that I'm going for.
Oh, really? Because like that'd be my first one now.
I know what your first one would be, but that's another topic. But
that's for the off camera. But it's interesting. It's like there's so many different things because when I think about like healthy eating and stuff, it's like, okay, you eat your macros. It's like make sure your macros are good, but there's your micronutrients too, and those micronutrients have a lot to play on your gut health and your hormone balances and stuff. So like these hormone imbalances are causing all sorts of other things. They cause anxiety. They cause you to be unfocused. It's like all of these things, they tie into it, the bigger problem. You know what I mean? The bigger problem starts with what you can control, and you can control the food going in your mouth. You can control what you read, what you watch, what you learn about, what you pursue, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And like all of these things, without knowing better, you're kind of on autopilot because you've been taught to just do this. This is good.
Right, and it comes back to even the tourniquet thing. So, the meds. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not saying I'm trying to play one. But one of my greatest accomplishments in here, as our team, not really me, is like seeing people come off of medication because they've started to watch what they eat, and they've started to train and sleep and do these other things. And we've really had to push in like, getting some other healthy habits in there. Check more boxes. Like you say, going for a walk. Going for a walk checks all kinds of boxes. It's helping your health, but it's also doing all these things. It's getting you on the sunlight. It's getting you, into some quiet time. It's getting to you that place where you're, you start to actually relax and breathe and think things through.
Yeah.
You come back with sometimes you come back from those walks with solutions to big problems that you have in your life.
Oh yeah.
And so like trying to get all that stuff in order. So like what I'm saying with that is like the medicine being the tourniquet. Like this is an issue. It's got to be stopped now. We got to do something right now. But like we have somebody join the gym right now who has been diagnosed with something very bad, and like I was so happy to hear that the doctor was like, yeah, we got to give you this stuff, but you also need to start eating and exercise.
I wish everybody.
I hope we get more of that. I think more doctors, and we have a couple of doctors here who are outstanding, and that is like their belief, and they're constantly recommending people to come here. But like I hope, like in everything, we should be looking for the deeper solution. Yes, we need to tie off that bleed right now. And then, but what is the bigger problem? And I think when we go all the way back to the gun laws, like, yeah, we need to tie that off somehow with some things. But like, Trudeau just getting up and saying like, everybody's guns got it. Okay, like, well, that's not gonna like just solve the problem, and it's gonna be nearly impossible for you to do. So we need, like, and we cannot control the other side of the river, right?
Right.
And what's getting, and I'm not I'm a guy who does support a lot of the things that's going on over there, and I'm not someone who's saying take away all the guns and all these things. But I do believe we need to do something.
Yeah.
And we need to do something very drastic, but we need to get way deeper in the roots, because in 20 years this is going to be even worse. Like there's like in Florida right now, like it's not really hitting here as bad. We get a lot of the news here, but people are legit like my kids are homeschooled not because I'm fearful for them to go to school for their safety. That's what's happening in Florida right now. There's and in the States in general, I'd imagine it's now becoming like that, like, you know, you're only one person away, like where you actually know people.
Yeah.
Like that's what my cousins were saying. They're like, you know, it was kind of like didn't bother them, but now they're like, man, I know
Hitting home.
my buddy's cousin was one of the kids killed in Nashville, or it is like, oh my god, like that's how close and how far spread it is.
Yeah, it starts
crazy,
hitting
man.
home. Yeah.
Crazy. But what else? We got anything else? We can end on a positive. This is a deep conversation, Irv.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think
deep sober conversation.
the good stuff. I think, man. Like I mean, this is what I think solves all problems is just knowledge, and the more you read, the more you learn. Like the more you have, like the experience, or like you have that, like kind of what we were talking about earlier with the censorship. It's like you're only gonna see one side. Like there's other sides to these solutions and these problems, but if you don't read and learn the other side, you only see the one thing. So like, how are you ever gonna say, you know, maybe this is happening way before that, but you're just looking at the gun here because this is what they're saying the problem is.
Yeah, and I think you're right, and I think like this whole like liberal and conservative and Democrats and Republicans and like, man, like that shouldn't be the basis of what you think. In my
because
you know, like that, in my opinion, I'm not a big politics guy, but I'm gonna say like I don't. I guess I would align with a lot of conservative things, but I'm not gonna like you presented with a scenario and say, well, I'm conservative, so we will all have guns and we'll carry them on our hips. Like, you know, like come on, like that's me. I'm a guy who would, you know, I like guns, right? But I'm not saying that. Like, and the liberals the opposite. Like, you should be like, okay, no guns and we all have to eat vegetables. Like, come on, man, that's not like just because like. If you should be looking at all sides, getting as much education as you can, and making like decisions best for the people if you're in those positions, but the best for your family, the best for yourself. Like when we can only sweep our own doorstep at some point. Yeah. All right. So if your doorstep's not clean, then like worrying about Trudeau's doorstep is probably useless, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like just if you can control what you can control, like you can actually make those decisions and you can actually make better calls.
But I did feel like, and maybe it's just because we're so in business, I did feel like, you know, I always said like when there's a chief of police, like it didn't really matter to me because like what he or she didn't really affect my day-to-day operations, and like the prime minister used to be like that to me, like, and government officials in general, I guess, is like didn't really matter to me. Like I would like I align myself more with those and I'll vote that way, but really didn't affect my day-to-day. But now, man.
Yeah, now they're breathing down our
necks. It's affecting my day-to-day. This is affecting my day-to-day. It's affecting my livelihood, and it's making me a lot more. I mean, I only get one vote, right? So, like, it gives me up, but I do have this microphone. Yeah. And I can say what I want to the 300, 400, 500 people we get to watch these things. So, man, I think we've kind of done a lot of good things and talked a lot of good stuff. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Thank you, Mike, for coming on. Thank you for the beautiful table.
Of course, man.
Thank you for the cigar, which we're going to finish off the air. Irvin, always thank you for supporting us. IB Marketing, if you guys are looking for anybody, he is awesome at this, and he's super easy to deal with. And he does answer the phone. All right.
Nice.
So he doesn't have a AI answering his calls yet. So, anyways, thanks, guys. Thank you, Mike. And we'll call it over and out.
Now's the time to do more and be more.